Good evening, everyone. Warm welcome to all of us, all of you who have joined today for this webinar on IIM Ahmedabad's blended postgraduate program in management. As you may be aware, this is the third batch of this program, started 2 years ago, and we have just opened applications for the third batch on the 15th of December. And today we plan to provide you some broad overview of the program, introduce you to the program, and answer some of the questions that you may have as you make decisions about applying for the program. My name is Ram Mohan Turaga. I'm a faculty member here at IIMA in the Public Systems Group. I'm currently overseeing the admissions for the third batch of the program. Today I'm joined by Professor Joshi Jacob, who is the chairperson of the BPGP program at IIMA. He's a professor in the finance and accounting area. And we have two other members of the program team, Priyansha, who is in charge helping us with the admission process, and Venus Rise. So these we are joined by the two program team members. Uh, so the way we would proceed is I will start with giving a broad introduction to the program through a presentation that should take approximately 20 minutes. Then we will open up for question and answer sessions. So the way we think it works is the following. As I make presentation at any point in time, you can type in your questions in the chat box that is available on your screen. And we, wherever possible, we will directly address your questions on the chat box. The other way we would like to answer your questions is, looking at some broad themes of questions that emerge out of the questions that you raise, and we would respond to those. And in the end, for the last 10 minutes or so, if anyone wants to ask any question that was not answered through the first two steps, we would allow you to speak by unmuting yourself and ask the question. Right. So that's sort of how we are going to proceed today. Let me begin with a short presentation where I'm going to introduce you to the program as well as talk a little bit about the admission process. Right. Uh, so the uh, let me introduce. I'm Ahmedabad. Many of you might be aware of the institute. It's ranked number one in India's NIRF management rankings for the sixth consecutive year last year. It is Equis accredited. It's an international accreditation. It's been accredited for a long time now. Among the first Indian business schools to be accredited by Equis. We are ranked 31 in the Financial Times Global Rankings in 2025 and 22 in QS World University Rankings in Business and Management Studies. So, one of the top institutes in India. And we, as I said at the beginning, we started this program 2 years ago in response to the improvements in technology to offer such courses online post-COVID, and the need that we felt to provide opportunity for working professionals to do their MBA without sacrificing their sort of careers, without any career breaks. So what it fits into the third program that IIMA offers, an MBA program. The first is, the flagship program. So it's a 2 year PGP program for fresh graduates. More than a decade ago, we started PGPX, which is a residential program for experienced professionals. It's a 1 year residential program. And BPGP, we started in 2024 to for working professionals. It's a 2 year MBA program for working professionals, right? And in terms of the way we have designed and have been executing this program, in terms of its learning approach and rigor of the program, it is very similar to the PGP and PGPX that have been around for a long time, right? Um, to give you a broad overview, it's 2 year program. You will get an MBA degree at the end of it. It's designed for experienced working professionals who are seeking to accelerate their careers. Then it's offered in a blended format. What we mean by blended is that there is a certain component, about 20% of the component, that is offered live online, on campus. There is a campus module every term for a week, and the rest of it, the 80%, are offered as live sessions, right, taught by IIMA faculty, and you will join online from wherever you are, right? Um, and some of the key features, as I said, live sessions, which will be direct to device, which means that you can be anywhere and attend the classes. Of course, meeting certain requirements to ensure that you can actually have uh, sort of uninterrupted experience while attending the classes. IIM Ahmedabad is known for the case-based teaching approach. The Most of the courses are taught using case-based approach, and we have given the legacy of the institute very strong alumni network, and we are creating opportunities for participants of the BPG program to network with both industry and IIMAs, leverage IIMAs alumni networks. And finally, we have also introduced an optional international immersion program. It depends on both voluntary on the part of the participants who get selected to decide whether they want to participate in this program or not. But we typically identify an international MBA program and provide opportunity for those who opt for it to experience an international program. Is that sort of an optional part of the program? And in terms of curriculum, we sort of the three sequence of curriculum, which is starting with pre-MBA module even before you come to the program, if selected. You have to sort of complete certain online courses, which would act as something that gives you sort of certain foundations, right, to do well in the coursework that comes later. When you enter, the entire first year will be a core course curriculum, which provides foundation in management fundamentals, analytics, business context, and leadership skills. So the entire first year will be the core courses, compulsory for everyone. And in the second year, we have a set of electives, which are things that you would choose based on your interests and your career aspirations, right? To give you a just sense of um, the kind of electives that we have been able to offer in the last two terms for our first batch. We have generative AI in management, the anatomy of leading and leadership, carbon finance, new venture financing. So cutting across different functional management areas and entrepreneurship, we have electives. This broadly gives you an overview of the curriculum across the 2 years. Then, as I said, IIM Ahmedabad is known for case pedagogy. Many of our faculty write cases, and those of you who do not know what case pedagogy is, basically we document real life organizational decisions, and we use those in the classrooms to draw concepts and create sort of introduce you to theoretical frameworks by looking at real life decision making in organizations, right? So that's and many of us write cases for the courses that we teach, right? But case pedagogy is one part of the sort of set of pedagogical tools that we use in the program. The others are simulations, peer-to-peer experiential learning. Some of them involve lectures, and some of them involve project courses, which I will introduce to you a little later, right? And so, this is what case pedagogy, and the other feature that as part of the program is also what we call project courses. Right? So there are two kinds of project courses. One is what we call live projects, where you have to do it at the end of the first year. You have to you can choose a program either in your own job or some problem that some other organization is facing. Construct a project around it, and have a mentor at your organization or a faculty member at the institute, and sort of try to figure out how to sort of go about finding potential solutions to those problems, right? So that's what the live project is for. You actually get credits for completing it. Other than that, you can also do much more structured, very customized project courses, which are typically for one credit within the program. I will talk about credit a little later. Which again, but that needs to be under the supervision of a faculty member, right? So this could be in lieu of some of the elective courses that you might take, but something that is very structured and very customized, right? That's broadly about live projects, which are sort of an inherent part of the program design. And over the last 2 years, we have also introduced many activities that help with your careers. One of them is what we call BPGP Connect Plus, where we so there are multiple aspects to this Connect Plus program that we have developed over the last couple of years. One is that we have created committees of students, to undertake different activities, right? So which not only helps as an interface between the institute and the cohort, but also it would help you the foster leadership, right? Leadership development. Second, we have been doing across cities where most people in the cohorts come from, like Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, what we call meetups, where we bring industry experts and local alumni from PGP and other programs to come in and talk and share their experiences, which acts both as sharing the experiences, providing mentorship, but also as a way to network, right, with the local alumni and industry. And the third is that there are occasional industry talks, which are typically organized by the student committees themselves on topics that are sort of really contemporary and something that are critical for career progress and career acceleration. Right? These are the different ways we have been trying to go outside the classroom, right, to create experience for the BPGP cohorts. And one thing that we should make very clear that in terms of career support, because it's a program for working professionals, by design, we have never envisioned any formal career support. So there is no career support in this in terms of actually placements, right? Unlike the other long duration programs on campus, we don't have sort of career placements uh, for BPGP cohorts, but there are other ways in which we sort of help you, uh, get a better sense of how to sort of accelerate your careers. One of them is through creating awareness about the batch, right? So if you go to BPGP website, you will see the profiles of all the members of the cohort, right, with their current jobs and their interests. And also, we provide that awareness about the program and the program participants by putting up these profiles on the websites, right? And we do encourage cohorts and participants to either collectively or individually pursue sort of different career options, right, while they are in the program. But formally, there is no placement support provided to the participants in this program, right? To just give you a broad sense of the last two batches, we have 138 students in the last two batches, like identical numbers. The average age is about 32, and a quarter of those batches across the two cohorts is women. And the average work experience is about 8 to 9 years, right? And the participants are represented by like wide range of industries, as you can see here, and a wide range of organizations, like really large reputed organizations. So people from all sectors, all kinds of organizations have joined the program in the last 2 years, right? That's sort of briefly about the program. And let me talk a little bit about the calendar, and then I will just say something about the admission process. So, as I already said, it's offered as a in the blended mode, partly 20% offline and 80% online. It's organized in 6 terms across the 2 years, 3 terms in each year, and the third batch will commence on 1st September 2026. Right? Uh, this is the typical program week in the first year for sure. Like there are 8 sessions every week, two each on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays in the evening from 6:30 to 9:30, and two sessions on Sundays in the morning from 10:20 to 1:10. So you have 8 sessions in a week that you have to prepare for and attend. And in second year, this will be there, this will be preserved, but we are also experimenting to provide more elective offerings. We are experimenting with opening up other days, but for sure you will have these 8 sessions in both first year and second year, right? Um, so coming to admissions, who should apply for BPGP? No, as we said, this is for working professionals, which means that based on the experience of the last two cohorts, it's pretty intense because you are trying to balance between your family, your work, and the very rigorous uh, MBA program, right? So, which means that you should be able to balance these things effectively. So, we look for people who are confident about their ability to balance across these different things that you need to do as a participant in this program. Then we also look for people with strong career trajectories and well-rounded achievements. And finally, some kind of uniqueness that you can bring to classroom discussions, either in terms of disciplines, in terms of jobs, in terms of extracurricular activities that you have undertaken, something that unique that you bring to add value to the classroom, inside the classroom and outside of it, right? Uh, Eligibility criteria, so many of them are available to you on the websites in case you have any questions or any sort of doubts. But to give you quickly a sense, the minimum requirements are people with a 3 year minimum of 3 years of full-time work experience as on 30th April 2026. Minimum age should be 24 years as on again 30th April 2026. Finally, you should have at least 50% marks in bachelor's degree or equivalent from a recognized institution, right? These are the main sort of minimum eligibility criteria that you should satisfy to apply for the program. The admission process, it involves similar to some of the other program, three different aspects to it. One is your professional experience and achievements. Second, admission tests. There are three kinds of admission tests. One is the test that we organize ourselves called IAT, IIMA admission test, or you can also apply through GMAT, GRE, and CAT, right? So at the first stage, we look at your academic professional experience and achievements and a test score to identify who will qualify for the interviews. Once you are invited for the interview, there are personal interviews that will come into picture in the final selection, right? In addition to your test scores. Um, IIT, if you have any questions, you can go to our website and look up the sample papers that we have provided. But it is typically like any other aptitude test like CAT and others in terms of what is tested. Just that for the convenience sake, we have are organizing it a test ourselves. And timelines, again, you could look up online, but the important sort of timeline that I will at this stage important is the application's closing date, which is 10th April 2026. As I said, we have opened the applications on 15th December. You can apply any time, but the last date for applications is 10th April 2026, and by 26th June, you will know whether you are selected to the program or not. Right. Finally, before I open it up for questions, you will occasionally see VC Now contacting you, providing information on the program. VC Now is a sort of an organization we recruited to help us with promotion of the program, beyond what we do. And they also provide the technology support during the delivery of the program, right? So that's sort of you will occasionally come across VC Now. So that's something, an agency that is working for us in the promotion and technology support, right? So now we will open it up for question and answers. Let me begin with some of the questions that you have already raised in the chat box. Um, some questions that I see. Let me take a shot at these. Is this a degree granting program opening doors for PhD? Yes, as I have emphasized many times in the presentation, it leads to an MBA degree. So it is indeed a degree granting program. And although we don't really have any of our cohorts graduated, so but I'm pretty sure something that will make you eligible for PhD like any other MBA program, right? What is the difference between BGP regular and business analytics and AI? I may not be well suited to address this. Joshi, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, yeah. Um, so, uh, the key difference is this program is quite close to any MBA that you would, uh, come across for design for working professionals. So, therefore, the first year has the core of management along with certain exposure to the business environment, techniques and tools and things of that kind, which would help you generally deal with decisions involving business fairly at a higher management level. And in the second year, you will have electives that are catering to multiple dimensions. One dimension could be, as the list probably demonstrated, one dimension of the electives is purely organized in terms of functional areas, like there are electives in marketing, finance, HR, operations, and things of that kind. Another set of electives are actually spread across industries, like there are electives which are focused on healthcare, there are electives on education, uh, public policy, and things of that kind. Then there are electives which are helping one build a career in a certain choice. For example, it could be courses on AI analytics and things of that kind. So it has a very strong uh, business decision flavor, and it doesn't assume that you are necessarily always engrossed with analysis of the data. In that sense, the emphasis on techniques and tools uh, is not really as much as you have in the BPGP business analytics and AI program. There, it is more focused on preparing professionals who could handle the data analytic part, analyze unstructured data, structured data, really come up with insights which can help solve problems. So that has a very strong focus on analytics and application of AI as it helps in decision making. This program is actually, meant to really prepare decision makers who may be, involved with the analysis, but not to the same degree as someone whose full-time career is focused on, uh, you know, analytics. Yeah, that's the key difference that we would really highlight. So in a way, we can say that this is closer to an MBA that would be offered by IIMA, like the PGPX program, the closest of which it belongs, or some kind of rehash of the PGP 2-year program, but offered to uh, people who are already exposed to business functions. So in that sense, the number of credits and exposure that they require and where they are actually starting the program is very different. So BPGP AI is a more specialized program focused on analytics and the tools that are catering to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Um,
I
there,
thought, Mohan, there is another set of questions which I thought are around classroom recordings, access to classroom
yeah.
recordings, and timing, and so on.
Yeah.
So I think within that, one common point is actually the access to recordings. Um, so the whole philosophy of IMA in in approaching the learning, uh, thus it is important to participants, is to really keep it what we call as participant centered, as my colleague had touched upon and even highlighted and gave you some sense of. We follow what we call as a case based teaching. A case is a context which is reflective of the complex reality the business faces, within which a decision need to be made. It could well be like launch of a new product, and you have variety of information that is sitting with you, competition, the kind of market opportunity, the difficulty in, getting the product, delivered to customers and so on and so forth. One is bringing all that ugly reality, which is not so neat, into the classroom. And the participants really, sort of engross with the difficulty in making the choices, and in a way simulate the decision making that might really, as it roll out in an actual business situation. Therefore, the faculty takes, of course, a very learned role, but not necessarily like a telling approach. It's a discovery approach. The discovery in the sense that the participants are figuring out why are you really, right in a certain approach, or why you could be wrong with another approach, and what are the trade-offs which are really there in choosing different options, and the participants really play a significant role in that. So that's an experience, and that kind of an experience we believe that really makes learning memorable, also fun, and there is a wealth of experience that the participants have as a cohort in a classroom like 60 or 70, and therefore their collective wisdom is reflected there. Therefore it's an experience to be part of. Therefore, watching the recording or making it available alone will not really lead to the same, because experiencing is learning, right? That's the way we are actually seeing it. That's the reason why we expect the participants to be really actively involved by doing the background preparation, go through the material, ancillary material, work through the numbers, think through the options, and so on. So, therefore, central to the program, central to the learning effectiveness of the program is actually participation in the classroom, which we thought philosophically will get diluted if we actually promise uncontrolled access to the recordings. Because if you are actually in a session, if you feel that, okay, we are all pressured, there is work that I have to do, there is family level commitments, and I'm actually trying to now straddle a third dimension, which is the program. Therefore, it is natural that, sometimes at least the priorities may actually shift away from learning to really something else, which is equally important for your life, and that could really lead to dilution of the program, right? So therefore, our default option is there is no access to recording. However, having said that, if there is a genuine exigency the candidate has faced, it could be a surprise, call by your boss to be really traveling to address an important matter in your profession, or it could be a family exigency or any other. We actually provide access in those exceptional cases with certain protocols, and that's the method that we follow, right? And that's done with a purpose. If it was a really a lecture where the faculty really sort of go from one concept and then illustrate it and then move to another concept and build it like a linear lecture, then I think watching that lecture would be as effective as whether you're actually participating it online or whether you're watching the recording, right? So whereas in a case it's an experience, and therefore when we are recording all the arguments, the kind of tangential directions in which those arguments are eventually leading to, all of that may look very distractive for just someone who's watching it. If you are experiencing it, it's a different dimension altogether, that it imparts a significant lasting lesson in your mind. So that's the difference, and which is why we are actually not encouraging sharing of the recordings as some of you would desire.
So, some of the other questions that have come up is regarding the distinction between BPGP and PGPX, something that seems to be an important question that has come up. And
Okay.
also, someone has a question on placement, and why we are not providing placement assistance to BPGP students. I think it's. Do you want to talk about it, or do you want me to say something?
You can start. I'll join in. Yeah.
Yeah. So on placements, something that question that we always get, and as I made it very clear, we don't offer placement support, primarily because you are all already working professionals. And I we it's a as a policy at the institute, we cannot offer placements to those who are already working, right? So whether it is PGP or PGPX, where the placement support is provided because they are not working, right? They left either in PGPX case, they leave their jobs and come and join the fully residential program. And this is meant for people who are actually already working, right? And we personally, we sort of as an institute think that it doesn't provide good signal to the organizations which are providing you the support and time to actually go through this program. If we are offering any placement support, that's sort of the one of the key reasons why we don't offer placement. On the issue of BPGP versus PGPX, PGPX is a 1 year program. It's a residential program. Its similarity is that with BPGPS, that it is for experienced professionals. Other than that, BPGP is a 2 year program as opposed to 1 year program, which is PGPX, and they are fully residential while you are doing MBA, getting the same degree while you are still working, right? Whereas PGPX people leave their jobs and come and join the fully residential program, right? So that's also drives why there is placement support for PGPX and not for BPGP. You want
Yeah,
to
so
add
the
something?
other point, may I add, Mohan? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So the other points to highlight is, as any program would be, which is done on a, partly away from campus, uh, you may not really have the same set of student-led activities with the same intensity as you would have for PGPX, because they are full time on campus. Therefore they are free to organize a lot of different activities throughout the week, right? So there will be occasional talks by industry leaders. Of course that's true for BPGP as well, but the frequency of that is different, and they have a lot of activities which are like case studies and competition and things of that kind, being part of the larger ecosystem at IIMA. So I think honestly there will be some difference, because you are far away from the action in campus full time because you're engrossed with your work. Therefore, the that experience you should expect it to be lighter, given the fact that you are actually working, and students may not really have the same level of energy and commitment to organizing this as a group. That's one difference that we see. The other difference that I would like to add on, the fact that this program actually runs on, you know, regularly in the evenings, and then weekends, only weekend, Saturday, we actually have regular sessions in the evening only, and Sunday, two sessions. So therefore, the total slots available for scheduling courses, not the core course, the electives are limited. Unlike PGP or PGPX, where students are on campus, where we could really do the sessions from 8:45 until evening, and then full 6 days, or at times even 7 days. So therefore, some of the choices that you may have for the PGP or PGPX may not necessarily happen in the second year courses, or rather, you know the fact that there is some balancing of the workload compared to the full-time program, that's another difference that you would see. However, I just want to add here on as a record, PGPX requires a total credit requirement of 28, uh, and BPGP has 36, which itself we find that our experience of running this program for 2 years, 36 credits is fully packed and very demanding for students. Therefore, offering or the availability to really offer as many electives as PGPX or PGP would get is a little challenging, given the structural constraint that we are facing. That's the second difference that we observe. There is no difference in terms of your access to the alumni or engagement with the community as you would desire. Yeah.
Okay. So the other question, I don't know how. frequent this is asked, but someone asked, major part of the program is online. How effective this program is, where collaboration is important aspect. Right? Uh, so Joshi, you want to answer that
Yeah,
question? Yeah.
yeah. So as my colleague had been alluding to in the opening presentation, IMA actually had been pretty reluctant and very cautious for good reasons to really launch a program like this because we thought IMA puts at its center court case-based pedagogy, and that would require phenomenal amount of interaction between participants, which is not really predictable, right? It is very spontaneous. So the spontaneity is really part of the case discussion. Someone brings a certain argument grounded in a certain logic, you would find that it is absurd, right? You want to really have some another participant would really want to sort of quickly counter it. So the interactions has to be very organic, and it is just not language, it is also body language, it is gesture, it is just eye movement, all that can really communicate that in a real classroom. So for that reason, we thought the environment would not really allow us to have the same learning experience for the participants as much as we have for the other programs, which is why we didn't really launch it for a while. However, having said that, what we have learned over the pandemic and the years is that to some extent technology has now really matured enough to really allow us to uh, retain a significant extent of the interactivity, being for example, being able to really create discussion groups or what we call as separate rooms for meeting, and all that is possible in the virtual mode. And also, there is significant experience the course facilitators like us have gained by really teaching these, PGP and PGPX online for 2 years. So that's the confidence with which we have really launched the program. However, now let's look at the differences. The first difference that we observe is that all said and done, the interaction is that really as spontaneous as it could be in a class where you're physically meeting. In online sessions, it's a little less organic. It has to be really manicured or mentored by the faculty. So therefore, at times there is some sequential kind of interaction that happens where faculty allows people to really respond. So it is not really as natural it could be. However, our experience had been the following. One, while students have difficulty in really getting all their energy and excitement and insights to be brought to classroom at that moment, the fact that we actually have learned a way to curate it and manage it in the classroom, the experience of learning is not necessarily very different, at least from the from the kind of feedback that the students are giving us. That's number one. Number two, courses that actually require much more intense interaction, and where person to person, face to face, and really being able to see how the others are responding. Those courses we provide a greater opportunity for having that done when they are on campus. So these two have probably helped us, build a lot more connect. The third thing that we have done is, you know, the slide on Connect Plus has indicated, we have actually set up the challenge in any case learning environment is unless the participants really have a very strong chemistry and camaraderie and commitment to each other's learning, it may be a little hard for to really make sure that the cacophony that happens in the discussion evolves into something which is really enduring and impactful. To do that, what we have been trying to do is to organize a lot of early personal interaction within the classroom. For example, the meetups that we do is necessarily an attempt to make sure that the participants know each other very well. For the first batch, we had been deliberately trying to bring that chemistry by organizing these physical meetups in between the campus modules in different cities. Then what has happened is what we have actually triggered as really metastased into something that organically the batch has taken up, and they have started to really meet in person, in groups, even before the program was launched officially and throughout the program. So I think there is a very strong commitment to each other that has been built up in the program, which is allowing part of this to be the challenge of doing this online to be overcome with the additional interaction, touch points, and activity zones that we have created. Yeah, that's the kind of experience that we have. So to just sort of sum it up, our experiences we wouldn't really ever claim is as good as the physical classroom in every respect. But if we were to really go back and reflect on our own experience and the experience of the participants, the learning impact and the effectiveness is not significantly compromised in this format.
Yeah, we will take a couple of live questions now.
Shikhar Gupta, you might want to ask your question.
Hello. Yeah. Hi. Uh, so my question is regarding the class format. So it's mentioned, you have mentioned that the classes are online. So are they online as in we can access them through our laptops anywhere, or do we have to attend some classroom physically where we are being taught online from somewhere else?
No,
That's
as we said, what we mean by direct to device means that you can attend from wherever you are. So it could be our office or home, wherever you are, you can just access it from your computer. It's just that you have to make sure that there is sufficient bandwidth for you to be able to access, and that's something a responsibility on the side of the participant. And we can provide you guidelines on what those minimum requirements are to have a smooth class experience, but you could attend from anywhere.
okay. Great. That helps a lot. Thank you.
Devabrata.
Yes, sir. I'm about 45 years of age, and I have around 17, 18 years of entrepreneurial experience. So, as we all know, that we learn from our experiences by trial and error method. Many things that we normally miss through classes sometimes. So, what will be the value addition from BPGP for people who have experiences like 20, 17, 15 years of, of experience? So, what is your view on that, sir?
Rishi, you want to?
Yeah. So the profile that you have mentioned, nearly 17 years of experience, and you're 40 plus, you would find similar profiles in both our batches. And my interaction with them gives an impression that there had been plentiful opportunities for them to reflect on things that they had been doing, how differently they could be approached, and also providing a broader canvas around the issues. So, in terms of our understanding of their experience, it had been quite positive and encouraging on one hand. Uh, so if I mean, of course, maybe it's a good idea that you may want to really get in touch with a few of them and probably understand what their experience had been, which is a good idea so that you would really get a better sense. But having said that, um, our own experience, being in IIMA for long, teaching PGPX, which is uh, which is close to some of the profiles are close to this, but I would say our experience of teaching programs like executive education, which are more general in nature. For example, we run a program like AGMP, we run a program called SMP. These are more general management in nature. A lot of participants in those programs are fairly, senior in terms of their experience, and also having really dabbled with a number of things in their life. So it's just not that they are old, they are also sort of, having checkered experience. I think participants really go back, being able to process the, multitude of information that hits them, and with the understanding them with the lens of certain frameworks. For example, if you are thinking about, issues related to economy, there is so much of information that comes, interest rates changing, then, the yield curve is shifting. There is a central bank, reference rate which has been moved. Money supply has been impacted, some of this, or many such information which are probably available in other domains as well, hard to process because, we see this independent pieces as isolated, and if the connected only to some degree. But we know that to understand the world one need to think in terms of some equilibrium models. There are certain principles, so the exposure that you would get, in my view, are actually, one is exposure to a large number of frameworks which allow you to really understand the world, how it functions, which appears very complex and unconnected, but behind it there is kind of structure. Of course, not admitting that it is really simple. It's not simple. They are very complex by nature, but at least it gives you some handle to do that. Second is there are some approaches. Once you understand the world, how do I really take it forward, make the choices that I want to really make in my business. I think there are a lot of decision tools and frameworks that you get exposed to. And then the third dimension that I would add is, you really get the access to the network of alumni, you get opportunities to interact with industry leaders, be part of the IIMA network. That seemed to really help. Having said that, someone had raised this question. Of course, no, there is no formal placement here. What is the kind of career mentoring, that career acceleration record that you have of the existing BPGP participants? I must say that we have not on record the experience of the first cohort that we have admitted, the 138 students. We don't really have that experience because they are yet to graduate. But very strongly, uh, many of them have testified that the fact that they are in this program actually helped them see the world with a lot more clarity. And also, the fact that they are affiliated with IIMA and undergoing this program offers them a lot more opportunities to really improve their career, including opportunities for, getting into certain career placements which wouldn't have been available to them earlier. Yeah.
Secondly, what does it offer for the entrepreneurs?
We do not have a very specific focus on entrepreneurship, but we have a set of courses. We have connect with the IMA Ventures. IMA Venture offers some courses which are focused on entrepreneurship. That's the dimension as of now. Yeah, I would strongly recommend you to get in touch with some of the existing students. Yeah.
Yeah. Rohan Tripathi.
Hi, sir. I'm audible.
Yeah.
Sir, I want
Sure.
to ask a question whether BPGP or I am currently working with a company named Larsen and Toubro. So I've been working here since last 4 years now. Now my company is offering me a postgraduate certification program from IIM Ahmedabad itself. It's again a 2 year course. So the thing it is designed, it 16 classes will be happening from our LDA center and two will be happening from IIM Ahmedabad campus. I just want to get an idea what would be the difference between the BPGP program and the program which I'm telling about.
Mohan, do you want me to respond to this?
Yeah, I'll just, yeah, you can respond, but we uh, I recently was teaching in one of those programs that you are describing, but they ask us,
Oh, wow.
like, how do we get a degree. Right? So the main difference is the degree granting. Like there, it is very specific to the organizational needs, right? How it's sort of structured around your organizational needs. Whereas something like BPGP is more like an MBA program, right? It will not only will get a degree, it is much more broad based than what is specific to the needs of your organization, right? In the whatever program that you are part of within
Hmm.
this organization. That difference that I can immediately see. Some of them were asking like, I'm doing all of these. Why don't you offer a degree instead of some certificate, right? But that's the program design is very distinctly different from what an organization would want to design to meet its own needs, right, for their employees.
Okay, okay. So I got a brochure. So there it is written, this is designed on the lines of PGPX. I am Ahmedabad. So is it the same what I will be getting taught in BPGP, or you are right that this is very restricted to the company. You are right. The other name is MEP, Management Education Program. So I'm just trying to get a clarity on what it is and what will be
So
beneficial for me
the
in the
the
future.
significant difference is the extent of depth where individual courses are or individual domains are covered, and within domains individual courses are covered, are you know far more narrower in MEP compared to BPGP. And the elective
Okay.
sets that are being offered, given the fact that there is a cohort which is from a single company, quite often the electives that are chosen are more related to the business in which you are, right? So
Yeah.
the nature of the electives that you would actually have in a program like this would be wider. Yeah. Those are the two differences.
Right.
And plus, it would be a degree. It's a proper degree
That's right.
BPGP.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, yes. As someone else is also asking,
Yeah.
let us make it very clear that you will get an MBA degree, right? It's just that delivered online. It won't be called online MBA. It will be an MBA degree, right? So mode of delivery is different. That's all. Otherwise, you will get an MBA degree. Yeah. Santosh.
Hello, sir. Thank you for presentation. Uh, as we have 1 week classes in each term, is it conducted in the evening times, or is it conducted full day long?
Sorry, when you come to the campus.
Yes, yeah.
No, campus, it's a full day program. I mean, just like any other, regular on campus class. So only during the online classes, it will be in the evening.
Typically, in a day, you should expect about 4 sessions. In a stretch, it could be even 5. It
Mhm.
starts at 8:45 and goes to occupy time on 3:45 or 4 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for.
Samath, yeah, please keep your questions short so that everyone gets an opportunity to.
Hello, good evening, sir. So my question is that since there is no report of previous year students getting accelerated through this BPGP program, but do you have any instance of any students who got any kind of company switches or internal growth through this?
Joshi, you have any?
One is aware of some instances, at least as self-reported by the students.
See, since we don't have the batch graduating, we don't have any documented, we have not yet documented such instances, but we do have, information.
Again, a good idea would be to really touch base with some of
Yeah.
the current students uh,
Okay.
in terms of their experience. But I'm aware of specific situations since I have not really taken their permission or any of that. I don't want to necessarily say that. But to just caught, one student as had been on record is that, okay, the fact that you are at IIMA job offer that was not available to earlier has become available. So the company that was not keen to recruit has shown the readiness to recruit, yeah, post joining this program. And there are a couple of other instances that I'm aware of, yeah. you may get in touch with some of the students with the specific query. Yeah.
Satish.
Hello. Good evening, sir. Yeah, so my question is related to IIM Ahmedabad alumina. Like, how is help us to grow self in professional level? That's what we want to understand, basically.
Yeah.
Am I audible? Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So you want to know how IIMA alumni uh, help BPGP students, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, as in my presentation, as I said, one of the things that we have been doing with the past two cohorts is through these meetups and other online opportunities, we one is that we create awareness about this program and the program participants within our alumni networks. Uh, Second, we bring alumni who have been successful in certain careers to come and talk to BPGP students, either when they come to campus for their campus modules or through online or through the meetups that happen at various locations in the country. So these are the three places where we bring alumni. For example, if you say that if the cohort says that they are really looking forward to understanding how AI is affecting career options, then we look for people, or sometimes the students themselves might identify alumni who are able to add some insights, and we bring them either at one of these platforms, right? Either when you come to the campus modules, or through online Zoom calls, or through meetups. We actually bring them, and we have a conversation with them, right, on what to sort of how to think about careers in a particular domain, right? So that's what we have been attempting to do, and sort of that's how it might help BPGP students. Kiren.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Good evening. I just would like to know what is the weightage of the evaluation of each of the criterias. I mean, graduation mark versus entrance versus the experience overall, and how does it play the role? So it's very confusing in that way. There are a couple of criterias. So just to self introspect, if you can just share some details around it.
um, the uh, weightage. So at the initial stage, we look at the sort of academic performance in your previous academic performance, and current your employment trajectory, along with one of the test scores. We combine those two to decide whether someone should be invited for an interview or not, right? The exact distribution of weightage between those two, we will put it up on the website, right now I can't recall immediately, but there is a sort of weightage given to each of these two in a particular that particular distribution, and those matter at the initial interview stage, right? Once you qualify for interview, you will be asked. There will be an interview, and the interview scores will be combined with your IIT score to arrive at the final list of selected candidates. So one thing that before we go to the next question, one thing that I am seeing on the chat that has come up, which I think is important for us to address, is that look, the program is set up to be rigorous and to get a recognition that is equivalent to the other programs that we have mentioned, PGP and PGPX, which means that we have to maintain certain standards that are accepted to be equivalent to the other programs, which is that the number of sessions. So Professor Joshi has already talked about attendance policy. In all other programs, attendance is compulsory, right? 100% attendance is compulsory. So which means that if except for, of course, some exigencies like medical, and in your case, because we recognize that some of you may have to travel during the classes. So we are a little more flexible than the other programs in terms of that. But we maintain we don't, while being a little flexible, in order to maintain rigor and create an MBA, even if it is offered online as something that is equivalent to the other MBA programs at the institute, we sort of maintain certain standards, which means that you cannot, you should be very careful when you apply, because unless you are able to meet these requirements, for example, being able to attend the classes as regularly as is required. Without that, it's not a good idea for you to sort of come into the program, because we don't compromise on that, right? Whether it is exams, attendance, both in the online sessions as well as in campus modules. For example, in the first year, we give no exception to missing campus modules, right? Because it's consistent with our 100% policy, right? And as we said, we do understand some of the constraints that are different from other programs, so we're a little flexible in allowing to use recording and all. But if you don't believe that you can consistently meet the program requirements in terms of attending the classes and completing the coursework, then you may want to seriously rethink applying for the program. That's something we want to make it very clear. So Anand.
Yeah, hi. Hope I'm audible. Actually, I had two questions, but to save time, I'll just ask the first one. What I wanted to sort of understand more so was, what in terms of my, whether this program, would help my sort of goal, right? So I wanted to, currently I'm working in analytics role and in audit, and I work at PwC, right? So I want to shift to a consulting role, more specifically strategy consulting. So, in order to find out, whether, what would be the electives or the courses that, of the program that would help me do that, is that something where I just have to, just read through through the through the curriculum, and then I have to find that myself, or should I be interacting with some alumni to find out if this program will help me transition and, shift to consulting, right? So what would be the best way to go about that is what I wanted to ask, if that makes sense.
You want to respond?
Yeah, so I think you brought up two dimensions of your desire to transition. One is like what kind of courses are offered, and how does that fit one to really move from being doing analytics to where you are actually someone who's advising based on the data or analytics, right? So uh, the second part was like, how do alumni come into play? Does anyone offer, active guidance and so on? In fact, there are set of courses which are strategic in nature, where you take not a functional view, but, more integrative view of the business and solve problems as you are encountering them, not, trying to separate them into different functional areas. Those courses are there. Strategy, I think we have already had 3 or 4 electives, and there are some scheduled for the next term. So I think course-wise, yes, there is, and maybe you should probably take a look at from the office request for the list of electives that are offered in for the last term and the schedule to be offered in the next term. That'll give you a sense of what courses are there. I think alumni, I think organically students are able to reach out to people because we create enough touch points. They're able to connect to people and seek advice. That happens. Of course, it may be hard for me to predict at this moment who exactly you would contact and what will be the approach, but there is plentiful evidence of candidates being able to really approach alumni and want career guidance, on certain choices which they're making. Yeah.
Jitendra.
Hello, can
Yeah.
you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So my question is, as Professor already said, to contact with the alumni. So can we get some students' contact details so we can just discuss with them the previous BGP course?
Yeah. Something that we would organize at a later phase, as we did for the last batch as well. We would organize a webinar where the current cohort of students would be involved. So you may be able to directly interact with them as well.
And
Overall.
as I said, we also have the first batch profiles on our website. So they should have the email addresses, right? So you should be able to look at the first batch folks and write to them directly. Want. Dhaval,
Yeah,
Dhaval Patel. Yeah.
thank you for allowing this question. So I just wanted to ask a total number of session we would have for this program online and offline. Plus, what do you suggest? How many of additional hours we should, spend or invest for this program to successfully complete this program in a 2 year time?
Yeah. So the total sessions are 720, of which 40 sessions are meant for the live project. So if you leave that aside, there are 680 sessions which are actually, which
Each
involves.
session is 75 minutes, just to clarify, right?
Yeah, each session is 75 minutes. The approximate time you would require to prepare for a session which has a case, not every session has a case, which would be our own estimate is that you would have to spend upwards of 2.5 hours, 3 hours per session to do that. However, multiple ways students collaborate. Someone with knowledge in the field of the case would probably do a pre-class tutorial or discussion that actually helps lighten the preparatory process. But we would still expect all of you to really have spent 2.5, 3 hours per session. So therefore, if that's a kind of count that we're talking about, 680 into 3, you're talking about 2000 hours or something to be spent plus the projects. So I think the time commitment in this program is actually going to be significant. Therefore, students have found it really challenging to manage between classes and work. But the good thing is that they have found certain pathways by which it can be really made workable for them. Yeah. But we would not say that it is very easy to really go through this program. Yeah.
Yeah.
Varun.
Varun Khanna.
Uh, Good evenings, everyone. Good evening, sir. So I wanted to know, like, what is the minimum? I know that it is a 3 years eligibility, right? But like among the cohort, what is the minimum experience that a candidate has had and who has been selected for the program?
Yeah, I think Priyansha, Venus, we would have some candidates with 3-year experience, right?
Yes, sir, we do.
Yeah, yeah. So that will be the minimum. Yeah.
Yes, minimum 3 years is required. So, of course, up to 3 years, we accept in the program. And we have students who have specific work experience while they enrolled in the program.
With just 3 years experience.
Yeah, with just 3 years experience, yes.
Right. Thank you very much.
Rahul.
Good evening, professors. I have two questions. I'll keep it short. One is around scholarships. Do we have
Yeah,
scholarships?
so let me just very quickly respond. We have some merit-based scholarships. For the first year, at the end of first year, based on the first year performance, and also a similar you know recognition in the second year. I would not really say that that leads to a substantial savings on the fee, but it's a recognition that the institute really gives to the meritorious students in line with the other programs that we have. We have something called institute scholarships in the other programs. A similar uh, recognition is being given to BPGP, but it's not at the point of admission. but it's actually after completion of the first year.
Anmol. Anmol, are you there?
We can move to the next one. Amol?
Okay. Amol Bhosale.
It's Amol Bhosle actually. So the
Yeah.
pronunciation, yeah.
Yeah.
So my it's not my question, it's a request. Since this program is specifically built for working professional, and I was going through chats. So many of us would be leaving office, by the time 6:30, 7:30, or 8:30 maybe. So at least for Thursday and Friday, if it is possible to give us the recorded sessions, or to have a repeat sessions on Saturday or Sunday, for specifically for those 2 days, it would be a great help, and that's what my request is. If you could consider, that would be a great help.
Under the current provisions, it is not possible, but exceptional cases, as we said, we provide it.
And we have had a lot of discussion over the last 2 years since the beginning of the program on these timings and their compatibility with the working professionals and the practicality of actually, fulfilling all the sessions that are part of the program. And this is a schedule that we have come up with, having looked at all those possibilities. So at this point, I would say that we are sort of relatively constrained in terms of changing the timing or making these videos available for a large cohort of people for 2 full days. As Professor Joshi already said, this we as a policy we think that the use of recorded sessions should only be uh, under exceptional circumstances. Otherwise, there is no difference between our program and the programs that are offered with asynchronous sessions, right? Yeah. Nehank.
Can we move to Pratik?
Hello, thank you.
Yeah.
Can you help me?
Yeah, so my question is like, will we be part of lateral placement group of IIMA?
No.
Okay.
Pratik.
Yeah. Good evening, professors. I have two questions actually. I'm 48 years of age and I have almost 24 years of experience in running treasury. So, my first question is, what would be the age group or the demography of the students of this batch? Because my academic requirement or would be a little different. My learning requirements would be a little different from the youngsters who would be the part of the batch. And secondly, uh, how often the existing alumni uh, becomes the part of discussions and all that, because I'm purely looking this course as my again go to the basics understanding to the academics, and probably sharing notes on real time or the existing situations in hand, or exchanging notes and all that. That's the another agenda for that.
Okay. In terms of age and
Honestly,
experience.
Professor, I have been part of leadership development programs in various prestigious institutes in last 5 7 years, internationally as well as domestically also.
Right. Right.
Unfortunately, IMA was not part of that, but I had been to IMC, IMB also, overseas also. But uh, honestly, the problem is uh, you end up with youngsters or a different kind of people whose requirements and the bandwidth is very different, like people like us.
So one thing that I would reinforce here, this program is more like an MBA. So it does really go back to basics, and some of the foundational subjects are covered. So, for example, you have dealt with treasury, but some extent, for example, to take one point, there'll be a discussion on yield curve shifts, then what kind of, so a lot of advanced stuff that you're doing in your domain will come only in second year. So you'll have first year, which is, going back to basics, that will be there, first point.
Okay.
Second point is, are there people of your profile? There is. In fact, there is actually someone else who's in the second batch who's currently running a treasury of another bank. So they are there. But if you are really conceptualizing, this is something which is only discussing contemporary issues to really sort of, help you do what you're doing. The answer is no. It is more basic in nature and more expansive. So, therefore, you may want to really seriously think, whether doing an MBA
Uh,
is that very useful to you, or do you want to really go into a very specialized program which is dealing with finance and treasury? That is a choice
um,
to be made. Yeah, I
no,
would.
Professor.
Yeah,
Uh, sorry to cut you. No,
yeah.
Professor, I was more no, my domain is okay. I was more looking towards the demography of that, because you understand, for me, I'm actually wanted to again go to my roots, study and all that. I'm not looking for a specialization. It's a general management program. I want to
Demography
get
has
into
people of
academics. But
yes.
for a youngster, the age difference between a youngster and a people like me, and the kind of discussions which happens and all that. So I'm just trying to figure that out. That
I
it.
think although we don't really have too many participants who are actually latter half of 40s, but there are candidates who are 50 plus in both batches. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the demography is not really exceptional and out of the ordinary, given your age and profile.
Rakharesh.
Hello. Yeah. Good evening, professors. So actually, I wanted to have some views on assessment. We have discussed about live classes. How do you conduct the assessment? What kind of assessment? And are they online or offline? So could you please provide some glimpse about the
Yeah.
assessment?
Most of the assessments are actually done online. Very rarely we have assessment, which is you're referring to exams and so on, which is actually done offline, because we think that it's important to really preserve the offline on-campus interactions for classes rather than for evaluation, because that becomes an obsession then and will distract everyone. Therefore, what we do is we actually have proctored exams.
Okay.
That's the format in which we are doing it. So they are not really like unsupervised. They are supervised with some protocols which are laid in place so that the integrity of the exam is not compromised. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Anoop.
Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, myself, I am Anoop. I am from UK actually, from Manchester. Um, I was planning to do a executive MBA. I'm already into the industry for like more than 15 years. But then I saw this particular program. So, but after listening to you, the timing, the Friday is still okay for me, but the Thursday, 6:30 means I need to be here in the class, maybe like by afternoon, which is not possible for me. So do I fall under that exception category, or I have to miss that class?
Yeah,
If let's
the
say
exceptions are not really like, if it is to be regular, then it's not an exception, right?
okay.
So therefore, that is going to be challenging. And you have to, an exception is for exigencies, personal or professional, not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, I won't be able to join the session, right? Class.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Ankush.
I think we can go to Vijay and come back to
Yeah.
Ankush.
Vijay Soni.
Hi, thank you, ma'am. Sir, I'm working as assistant general manager in Canara Bank from last 17 years. And my doubt is that what kind of role do professional like me with 15 plus year of experience typically expect after this program?
And are these roles primary within India, or are there global opportunities for senior professional like me? And is there, since I'm doing this program just for specialization in finance, as I'm a general banker, so is after doing this program, is there any opportunity or any expertise and leadership we can expect after this program?
Um, I think your questions are very, really, very challenging to respond straight on it. But we'll try and see how we see the perspective from our side on your questions. One, see like what kind of roles are being pursued after this. That I think is largely a choice that you're making right now. Having spent 17 years, it may be a little hard for someone to say that you would entirely, move into a different line of business. But what this does impart is that while you had been a banker focused on general banking functions, it exposes you to multiple arena of the businesses and also domains within businesses. So in that sense, it gives you more exposure to different fields, different functional areas, different industries. So that makes you much more eligible to really do something more general in nature within banking itself, to probably take up a leadership. But what that role could be, ideally, you should move up in the ladder. That's what this is helping you to do. That's my general response. The second part that you have asked, like, how how do you or would you really specialize in finance? We don't really nomenclature this degree as a specialized degree. It's general in nature, but there are courses which are actually more, which you could really choose to really focus more on your area of interest. In that sense, yes, yeah, you can. But we don't really write it in the degree that you are a specialist in finance. We don't do that yet.
Yeah.
Also, again, you may get in touch with current students who probably have similar profile. You can search them. There are. So maybe you want to really get a sense of their exposure to the program and the
So
experience.
Nishant will have the last question.
Yeah, thanks for allowing me. So my question would be in terms of the course structure. Like there would be campus immersions, and like how long would that be? Like a week or more, and then would the schedule for those immersion be like informed beforehand? And since like it was mentioned earlier that those would be like for quite long hours, so we'll need to just apply for leaves or just prepare beforehand. So yeah, so just wanted to know.
Mohan, you want to respond to this?
Yeah, I mean, the entire schedule for the program will be free, it will be frozen at the beginning of the program. For example, the first year, you will know which dates the each campus module and during which dates each campus module will happen right at the time of your entry into the program, right? So similarly, in the second year as well, you will know the dates of the campus modules. If not at the very beginning of the year in the second year, but certainly sufficiently early enough for you to plan your leaves and accommodation, whatever else. So because we need to plan these ourselves, right? So yeah, you will get sufficient uh, advance notice for your campus modules. Okay. Yeah, so Anmol Roy is back. So, Anmol, you have something specific that has not been answered yet?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Hello. Am I
Yeah,
Yes,
audible,
yes.
good
sir?
evening.
Yeah,
Good evening.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Sir, actually, I want to know that someone has done already completed their MBA and they are doing job. So, how this program will be helpful for them, or is they are uh, online can do this program or not, sir?
it's a tough one. Are there, I mean, I would rather go by evidence rather than prescription. Are there candidates pursuing this program after having done MBA elsewhere? The answer is yes. Now, you may actually want to understand what might be motivating them. I'm just sort of thinking in their mind. No, I think IMA distinguishes itself, focused on learning which is applied in nature, unlike schools which may really believe in conceptual and illustrative knowledge. So that may be one reason why, candidates are very strongly inclined towards taking up a program like this. That's one. Second is, the network and access to resources sets our students apart. Uh, Probably those are some of the motivations which I think is driving their choice to really redo an MBA from IIMA, having done so in the past. Of course, the decision of whether to join or not is entirely left to you based on your perception of the benefits from the program. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have to end it here. Thank you.
And the webinar will be made available. If you have any queries that are left, which we unfortunately couldn't really take it up, I think Divya's question we can take up. I think we haven't had a question from a female participant as yet. So therefore, any queries that remain unanswered, we will actually, you can write to the program office and we'll respond to them. Divya?
Hi, good evening.
Yes, good
I
evening.
hope you guys are doing well.
Yes.
So I wanted to seek some clarity regarding the BPGP program. Since this program does not include placement support and the overall fee structure is quite high. And like I just want to understand how participate participate participants generally evaluate their career growth and progression after completing this program. Also one more thing, I I also wanted to check. Does IIMA provide regarding accommodation facilities or any other uh, accommodation facilities like
Yeah.
the
And let's start with the easiest response. We by default we do not provide accommodation during your campus visits, but however, whenever that is available, we are open to providing that, and there are instances in which we have provided it, but just we don't take up that commitment because we don't have those facilities straight available. That's the accommodation part. uh, you know, uh, the program is positioned as a career accelerator, as we have responded to earlier. Though the first batch is still 6 months away from completion, so we don't really have a full record of their career progress. But there are some students who have been reporting of their benefits from the program, learning wise, their career effectiveness wise, and also some opportunities which they have actually been able to really secure with the identity of the program. But honestly, for this program to really have a claim that it has really led to significant change in the career prospects of candidates, it will take a while because it's not really a one-time event at the end of graduation where everyone really sort of look for jobs, right? Most people are happy with the career that they are, but they want to really make progress based on the learning that they have had from the program, right? So I think in a few years from now, we would probably have a much better record, which we can speak for. But at this moment, we have more anecdotal evidence. So therefore, it may be useful for you to really go back and interact with some students to really get a more first-hand assessment of their experience.
Okay, so thank you. This is first of several other webinars that we are planning until the applications close in April. So, as our team has already put up several times in the chat, if you still have questions, you can write to them at bpgp@iima.ac.in. And I also want to point out to you that we have an extensive set of frequently asked questions on our website, which provides you with a lot of information that you would need to make your decisions on applying to the program. I request all of you who are interested to go there and look up these FAQs, and feel free to write to us if you still have questions. We look forward to some of you applying, and probably see you in some of the future webinars. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.